Da-na-na. It's your boy David back with Niko United.
Your boy Ivan here.
We're a little hyped today because we just came off a big victory. And guess what? Big news. Big news. My boy Ivan, guess where he's at? I'll let him tack it out. Kind of already seen the background, but Ivan, give it away.
Yeah, we're reporting live from the city of Manchester. Currently in hotel football, where I stayed at for this couple days that I've been here. But yeah, I attended the game, and man, let me tell you, the atmosphere is palpable when you're in the stadium. It's ridiculous. But anyways, let's carry on with the show.
Okay. Well, real quick, I mean, just because it might be a little different from because we are from the States, right? Remember that we're from the States, so we don't get to see what it's like out there. Tell me, how did it feel walking into Old Trafford though, for the very first time?
Yeah, well, I mean, there ain't really much to say, right? It's just one of those moments, right, that you kind of always think about, you always dream about, and when it actually happens, it more than lives up to it, right? And exceeds it, right? Just the grandness of the stadium, just, understanding the history and just kind of looking out onto that pitch and just remembering and realizing like all the history that has gone on there, right? All the memories, the good, the bad. It was amazing, honestly. It was amazing.
Oh, dude, that's literally the dream, right?
Yeah.
At least tell me, real quick, before we jump into this game, did you at least learn a chant for us? Other than United, United.
I ain't gonna lie, just with the adrenaline and everything that's going on, I probably participated in the moment, right? Chipping in on some of the chants, but yeah, I ain't gonna lie, not really. Not really. I learned a little bit of the Brunos, but in the game, they didn't even sing the whole song. They would just say Bruno, Bruno. That was it. There wasn't like, the chorus part of it or anything, but you know. I learned a little bit. They sing West Virginia, like in the beginning of the game, and that was really nice. They basically sing to the melody, and I forget how it goes, but there's something like Old Trafford Road or some shit. I don't know.
West Virginia,
Exactly.
take me
Well, they say Old
home.
Trafford,
Yeah.
take me home or some shit. It's
Oh
nice though.
man,
It was nice.
that's crazy. So,
Yeah.
what game did you go see today?
Yeah. So Burnley, right? We played Burnley at home today. Um, was it September 27th or what's today? I don't know what day is this. 28th?
Today's the 30th, man. Tomorrow's the 31st.
Oh my gosh.
We're,
I'm thinking in
we're
the past. We moving. Yeah. 30th. Yeah. It was a good game.
okay.
I picked correctly.
You did, and then I mean, everyone knows how it ended, 3-2. Uh, I had to be watching from the TV, but you got to be there. So you were definitely living in the moment because goals on both ends, unfortunately. But the last goal, you got to see someone come up to us, huh?
Oh yeah. So yeah, we were sitting on the pitch. Basically, we got a perfect view of all the drama and everything going on with Bruno's pen at the end. And yeah, when he scored, he ran to our corner. Obviously, doing his little celebration, his famous celebration, sliding. So that was really nice. That was really nice to see. But yeah, overall, the game, the highs really hit in the stadium, but the lows really hit as well. Oh man, there were moments where like, every time they equalized or, we were trying to get back in the game and a player like missed controlled the ball or did a missed pass or just did a lazy play. Like you heard it first of all, right? The crowd was groaning and booing and not booing, but groaning. And yeah, you just get like this knot in your stomach. I don't know. It was just, I think it's because, like you said, we don't get to do this so often. So, like, for us to lose the time I come, is like so dreadful, right? Because you know you're not gonna be able to come back and experience a win. So you hope that, while you're here they win. So yeah, I was really hoping we pulled through and we did. So that was great.
It was
Almost had a heart attack.
yeah. No, I mean, and honestly, I mean, it was a roller coaster even for me back here, just because, I mean, we
Yeah.
have a tough schedule coming up ahead, so it was definitely one of those like, oh, do we need the win, type of
Hmm.
games. Um,
Hmm.
so I know right now I'm pulling up the stats. Also, we're not sponsored by FootMob. FootMob though, if you're listening or you're watching, just saying, just saying.
Yeah. Get on it.
Get on this
Hit
Niko
us up.
United. Yep. You look at that. You already know we're committed. We're willing to go all the way out to the UK just to watch the games, get that real live time reaction. Um,
Sir.
kind of like the highlight or the thing was we didn't have a win and this is the third game. Um, I don't want to go too deep because we'll go through it when we're talking about the player ratings, but there was incidents that like happened in the game that were like, oh no. um,
Hmm.
and of course silly like mistakes too that like kind of hit really hard just because you're like, oh, dude, like how are we conceding these? Um, what I would definitely say these last 2 days in the transfer window, they better make some signings.
Yeah,
uh,
that's for sure.
it's like a definitely like a slap in the face if you do not. Ivan, you were there, so you got to see exactly right. You got to see a little bit more than what I got to see because television they'll only show it little bits and pieces. So what you take from the game so far at the beginning?
Uh, I mean, wait, so are we going through play ratings or no?
No. Just
General takeaways? Oh,
just
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
just
Yeah,
like
yeah, I got
your
you. Okay, I got you.
did
So
did
yeah, I
perform
mean,
good, not perform good. Like would you?
yeah, so overall, we pressed well at times, especially in that first half. It's kind of the same old story, right? Like with Arsenal game, we kind of hit all those fundamentals the same. We countered well. We had moments of like sustained pressure where we were kind of in their half, playing it around, getting our wing backs involved with our attacking midfielders and kind of doing 1-2s, which is really nice, right? We did that quite often, especially with like Mbuemo and Diallo. Um, Overall, defensively, we looked great, but very big buts, right? We had like one or two, maybe even three moments of just completely checking out, right? Everybody standing around, being bystanders, not actively doing active defending, and obviously that cost us the goals. So those are big negatives from the game. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's kind of the same song um, that we sang about the Arsenal game, right? We look good. We created a lot of chances, right? Um, and we pressed well, and it's kind of that same narrative. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, and I mean it's definitely one of the things that we've been struggling. Right, we got to finish those chances. That's uh, that's one of those big things that we have to do. So I mean, jumping
Hmm.
into it, right? We'll start off. You know, game ended 3-2. Big stressor at the end. Because it was the last minutes of the game. You could definitely
Hmm.
feel the emotions of the players at the end too. But starting off with our goalie, so I know there was a cup game prior. We didn't really go into it just because that cup game. I mean, at least for my opinion, it wasn't really like a big deal. Of course, the media is gonna make it a big ordeal just because we lost a fourth division team, but we started
Yeah.
Onana on that game, right? And
Hmm.
that was kind of like him trying to get back into the squad to kind of determine this game, right? To see if who we pick over. Well, that game did not go too hot. So in this game, they ended up starting with uh, back with oh damn, I'm already blanking. I mean, help me out here.
Be on there.
Van Deer again.
Yeah.
Um, Overall, I mean, to be honest, both the keepers aren't the greatest, right? I think that's without a shadow of a doubt. I think that's why
Mm-hmm.
we're in the market right now looking at a keeper. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think out of the two, well, actually, funny enough, out of the three, Heaton looks a little bit more solid, but that just saying. But I would say Benadir would probably been the better choice, so I can't blame like these two goals on him. Footmob right now has a 6.1 rating. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's about right. It's a six, like that, at least for me, performance wise. Uh, he was able to. I told you he plays a little differently. I don't know what it is, or if it's just like his play style, but he does not really send like the long balls. But when he does, they actually do work. Like he actually connects well with the players. Um, so that's actually kind of like shocking to me because I always thought Onana was more of that kind of player, good with his feet. But Benadir is actually showing in these games. Now, like I said, in this game, the two goals that went in, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't even blame the second one on him because he made a great save. Uh, he just got very unfortunate on the ricochet. Um, but other than that, and then the first one, it was a good, nice crossing and kind of outbeat him. So it was kind of like I said, he overall didn't play. He didn't play awful. He didn't play the best either, but he still looks shaky on those set places. I don't know. He finally did come out and grab that corner though. I don't know if you saw. He finally was
Mm-hmm.
dominant in the air. So that's at least good to see because at the end of the day, I don't want us to be getting like overworked. Because like I said, if you saw, Burnley tried to do the same thing. They used their like big center back to block him, but he finally was like, "Hey, get out of my way," and caught the ball perfectly. So overall,
Mm-hmm.
mid in the air, a six for me. That's about right.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of explained it perfectly there, right? Playing out the back, he was very tidy, not too many mistakes. When he needed to clear it, he cleared it, right? Which was fine. And even in those moments he cleared it, he at least put it in an area where, one of our players could challenge for it, whether it be a Mbuemo, Cunha, or whatever. But yeah, like you said, set pieces, oh my gosh. It, yeah, he did okay in moments, but because of his track record on set plays, dude, that entire stadium gets nervy whenever they cross the ball in. All I hear is guys around me being like, fuck. Like every time the ball, almost goes in or, the other team gets a clean header because he doesn't punch it or doesn't come out or, we just don't defend the crosses properly. And, sure, obviously it's part to do with him, but I think in general, the team needs to do better at defending set places without Maguire in the team. Like other people need to step it up, right? Um, so, maybe that comes with signings, maybe a new goalkeeper will help out, but yeah, just him being nervous, in between the sticks, kind of gives a bad vibe to the players and even to the fans. So I think a change there is definitely needed, like you said. Onana don't really cut it. Bandier, maybe a little bit better at playing up the back, but in terms of keeping and commanding his box, not much better. So we'll see what we do in the transfer window. I think we are going to sign Lamens, but we still got to get the deal done. So I think we have till Monday, right?
Yeah, the first.
So yeah, so we'll see where that goes.
So
But
what would you say for rating?
yeah, 6 out of 10, like exactly what you said.
Okay, all right.
Um,
So
I'd
then,
agree.
so we'll work on the defense because yeah, like I said, this game it was a little bit like I don't know what it's like a toss up on the defense. And I'll start off with Shaw. I would say Shaw played the best out of the three. Um, I felt like he was very like he was there to defend, right? I feel like even though they got like the two goals on his side, I'm not gonna lie, I actually think it's more because of who was playing left wing back this game, and not really Shaw's fault. Now, of course, Fulmov's gonna be a little harsh on the rating just because he didn't keep a clean sheet. They have him as a 6.8. Like I said, we're not being sponsored from FootMob. Full Mob, they use like stats and everything to kind of for their ratings. For me, I would say he was a 7. I felt like he held on his own. He put his body on the line when it mattered. He pushed up when he needed to because we weren't really attacking on that side for a hot minute. I feel like they kept forcing the ball that way to kind of push the person that was there to kind of go up on attacking. And, it worked finally after a while. But, it took a hot minute, I would say, at least in the second half. But overall, I would say Shaw was definitely a 7, and I would round that up for me.
Yeah, again, you hit the nail. You hit the nail right on. Overall, just even seeing him in the pitch, like he won like pretty much all of his battles one on one, even like in the air, which is surprising. Shaw is the tallest guy, and he was winning headers left and right. And yeah, like you said, he got involved even in the attack at times, right? Appropriately, right? When the space was there and the moment was there, he pushed forward. He put some crosses in, overlapped a little bit. Kept it tidy, passing out the back. Even in moments where we needed, somebody to bail us out because they were going to counter with an advantage of players, he was able to like win a tackle or block the pass, out of bounds or whatever, allow us to regroup. So I'd agree. He played great. And again, very similar to his Arsenal performance. He was really good. So I'd definitely give him like 7.1 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah, and think about it. He played all games, so that's actually very impressive. So,
Yeah, it's good.
um,
Plus,
so
keeping him fit is very important, right? Considering all the injuries and Martinez being out and you know
yeah.
whatnot.
So this moves on to the lit. This one they have him as a 6.4. Like I said, I still think they're being harsh just because of the clean sheet. Now, I would say maybe around there though, like maybe like a 6.5. So the only thing that I would say was an issue with the lit was when he I think this is why like it's always hard, right? Because then you're like, should you play Maguire? It's these set pieces, man. Like you can definitely tell that he is not like comfortable, like clearing it with his head and putting his body on the line like Maguire would. Because I mean, like Maguire, that's what he's known for, and that's all he contributes in the game. The lit, I would 100% say that. I mean, at least for me, he was able to keep up a lot with these players and contain them. Because realistically, if you looked at the Burnley game, they didn't have that many chances. The chances that they did have were just because, of silly like mistakes or silly like little. It was honestly like a lucky bounce or anything like that. Like I think there was an opportunity where like Foster was open 1-on-1 because it like ricocheted off and it landed right onto him. And like I said, luckily he was back there to tap it, and we got the ball back. Um,
Hmm.
so I would say like, it is a little harsh. The only thing I would say is just these set pieces. I mean, he's got to be a little bit more confident in himself. I know he's not known for that, but like I said, with the system, because of who we got with Shaw and Euro, I mean, we still have to be able to win these aerial battles because, like I said, our other players aren't that tall. You know what I mean? Unless we play like Sesko or a Xerxes, but that's about it. Then other than that, we don't have nobody else to kind of win them. That's why it also falls back on the keeper to be a little bit more confident too, because it's like, hey man, you got to come out and win these air balls.
Hmm.
But that's about all I would say. Like I said, he had a a normal performance for the lit.
Yeah, I'd agree with most of the points. I think I think he had a good performance overall. Again, I'm referencing what I saw in person, right? I'm not getting the full, top down view. I'm not getting instant replays and all that. So, from what I really saw, he did good on his one-on-one battles, winning headers, in open play, pressuring. The main thing is he is really good at playing man to man, right? So whenever we're pressing, or let's say we're pushing up really high and we lose the ball, he is really good at pressuring that first outlet player that they play to, right? And he disrupts, their counters or whatever they're trying to do really, really well. That was really good. Obviously, there were a couple moments where he, let's say, didn't win his challenge, a few, and that kind of, led to, us being split open. But overall, I think it was great. And the only thing I would disagree with you is the fact that, you know, sure, he needs to help out more on set pieces. But, seeing last game, again, it was a League Cup game, but seeing the League Cup game and us having Maguire and us still struggling tremendously on set pieces, I the only thing that I'll kind of add a caveat in there and say, sure, the entire back line and team in general need to perform better on set pieces, but I think it's more of an overall problem than just one player. Because again, last game Maguire was in there and that didn't really help all much, right? We were struggling on them set pieces. Um, so, so yeah, I'd probably honestly I'd give him one the same as maybe not the same as Shaw. Shaw definitely did have a slightly better game, so maybe a 6.9, 7.0.
Okay, okay. Ah, all
Mm-hmm.
right. See, Ivan, like I said, Ivan's the number one best with tactics here, guys. So that's why he was there live on the scene, on the pitch. If you saw the streaker, that was him. That was him out there all day.
I was giving
Uh,
Amarin notes. That little board he was reading, that's what I gave to
and then
him.
this moves on to our last back line, which is Euro. Um, Euro, dude, I'm telling you, Fulham is just being crazy with their rating with a 6.8. Like I said, it's probably just because of the clean sheet that he didn't keep. I would still say
Hmm.
he's a 7. That one on ones battles, dude, he's so quick at recovering. It's
Hmm.
it's actually crazy, and the fact that like he's not afraid. Like this kid is young. Like he's not afraid to push up.
Hmm.
He was out there backing like Diallo and Casemiro. Like he's like, yo, give me the ball. Like I'll get you. I'll get us moving to the opposite side. Like let's keep going. Uh,
Hmm.
I would say I was very impressed with this young kid. Um,
Hmm.
Only thing would be is just be a little bit more confident on his tackles because like you said eventually if he doesn't win his one-on-ones then we get like split open. Other than that though, phenomenal. I'm pretty sure the only reason they subbed him off at the 85th minute was just to get some rest, at the end of the day
Yeah.
I think he's played like every game, almost all of it, so without like any break. So I would say phenomenal performance from Euro as always. Like I said, he's probably gonna be with us for a long time if he keeps performing at that level.
And then we keep, progressing as a team. If not,
Yeah, I
we
know.
might be
Real
booking
Madrid.
a one-way ticket to, yeah, Madrid or wherever else,
Yeah.
But yeah, you hit it right on the nose. Just again, you keep reading my mind. That comment you made about like him taking command and being the one to push the ball forward from the back, that is exactly the main thing I noticed watching the game live. He was always the guy pushing the narrative, right? To push the ball forward. Um, when Shaw can be passive, right? In his passing, he'll give it to the guy out wide and be happy to just receive it back and recycle it, right? But no, Euro is never, he's always wanting to find the next man forward. He's always wanting to drive the ball forward if he can. And he's always trying to like up the tempo, right? Sometimes I saw Bruno, looking at him being like, hey, like calm it down, man. Like chill out. We don't have to, go too quick. But just that desire to keep the tempo going, to keep it moving, to keep the pressure on the other team, I think that's really important, right? Because if you get three guys back there that they're like, they just kind of chill and they just kind of, hey, I'll give it to you, you give it to me, I gave it to him, he gives it to me, I gave it back to you. That's where you see football like we've had in the past, where we would have decent possession stats, but we would be so slow at shuffling it that like we never got anywhere, right? So I would agree, you know that's one great aspect of his game, and overall, winning balls at the air, his one-on-one duels, his recovery pace, he was great. Even his threat in the box has been developing, right? Like you tend to see him every game, win a couple headers in the opposite box. So yeah, I'd give him a 7 out of 10 minimum. Not higher than Shaw because I think Shaw, kind of contributed more in terms of tackles and interceptions overall in the game. But yeah, 7 out of 10 for sure.
And like I said, yeah, honestly, performance for this young lad, like way to go, man. Just keep doing it. He keeps playing like that. Like I said, I know he's always going to be starting for us. Um, moving on
He's still in
to,
19. Isn't that crazy?
I know that's like, oh man, this. I can't wait to see how this kid just keeps growing.
Hmm.
Hopefully, like I said, hopefully our team can match the same energy. Moving on
Yep.
to the midfield, we'll start off, with Amid. So, Ivan, what do you think of his performance?
So his performance, oh man, it's like it's a mixed bag, right? Like he had 10 out of 10 moments, right? With the way he was linking up with Mbuemo, the way he was winning the ball back at times, just the way he was a threat, right? Like every time he got the ball around that box, either he was doubled up or he took his player on or he found somebody inside. But then there are moments where, like, two very clear moments that I remember where, like, all he had to do was the simple thing and it would lead to a goal, right? Like early on, there was a moment where he cuts inside and Mbuemo finds himself in this little pocket making a run. And the defenders were split so wide that, like, there was literally so much room for error in terms of like passing it left to right. The only error he couldn't make is overhitting it. And guess what he did? He overhit the pass. And it's like moments like that is so infuriating because it was a goal. Like you put Mbuemo in, I think it was like some slow left back that was next to him. That guy was never catching up. And Mbuemo was 1-on-1, middle of the goal, easy. So, and then there was one more moment where obviously, right, the missed happened. Now I'll give him some, some slack on that one because, um, you know, Mbuemo kind of, I keep saying Mbuemo, and Bumo kind of flicked it to him and it bounced, right? So, those aren't always the easiest to kind of control in the moment. But yeah, other than that, he was great. So it could have been easily like in the eights, but I think because of those moments, I'd probably bring it down to probably like high sevens. I give like a 7-7. It was a good game. It was a good game for him.
Okay, okay, and you're right. He is so good. Like at times, especially attacking. Like once he starts like feeling the flow and starts making his runs and making his attacks, he looks so good. And especially because it's, for example, the last foul he got for us, right? He played that so good to make sure like his surroundings to draw the foul. Like that's how
Hmm.
great like he was. That's how honestly the defense were so threatened by him, right? That's why
Hmm.
they were trying to pull him and stop him. So he did have some hiccups, like you said, with the passing and as well as the open shot. At the end of the day, right?
Hmm.
I think he's gets caught up in that moments, and that's why he overcomplicates things, though. Um, that's why also I don't know if you noticed, but Bruno is also kind of telling him like, hey, like, you don't have to rush yourself, like, you know what I mean? Because he'll find like the space, like that's happened, right? He didn't have to just blast it. Of course, the keeper was coming. Um, if he would have just maybe took a touch and done what he did like in that Man City finals, you know what I mean? Easily could have been a goal. At the
Hmm.
end of the day, though, football gave him 8.1. I would say the same with you because of those like hiccups. Because we really need to make sure we're finishing these chances. Um, I would say maybe like a 7.5. If I was doing just whole numbers, I would just say like
Wait a minute, can I bring my score back? I forgot he drew the penalty. So just for that, maybe round it up to an 8. I forgot he drew the penalty. I ain't gonna lie.
wow, you were there in the moment.
Oh, and you can't even see VAR in the stadium. There is no screen.
You're right.
There's just a bunch of panels around the stadium that say, you know, potential penalty check, VAR or whatever. And you just see
Gotcha.
the ref walk up to a screen. But like, I remember somebody got fouled, but I forgot who it was.
Yeah, that's what I said. I
And remember
mean,
that was off screen, so I didn't get that replay. right? I'm watching. I think it was Bruno passing the ball, and I just see somebody fall down. I'm like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah. Okay. So you're bringing it up. Okay. That's what I said.
I bring it up. I
That's
bring
what.
it up.
That's what I said. Overall, I mean, because he drew the foul. That's what I said. I would say maybe like a 7.7 or 7.5. I mean, even though he got the foul, I would say, like I said, it's very crucial for him to finish these like chances and passes because,
Hmm.
dude, we would look so much better. We would be
Yeah, it would
finishing,
kill the game.
and then yeah, we would be beating these teams so that they don't get the morale to bring it back. Um,
Exactly.
but he's still young. He's still learning the game. He's still working out the function. Remember, he's playing right wing back, so he's basically playing two jobs. He's playing defense because he's coming all the way back, plus he's attacking, and then like I said, he's mixing it up because then he'll come in center and then get and fill in that role too. So
Hmm.
I would say great performance, right? Um,
Yeah, I
we
agree.
move on to Casemiro. I'm just gonna say Casemiro's been starting every game, but I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah. So for me in this game, again, I have no instant replays. I don't have a top-down view. I don't get to see anything back. So really, just from live, I think he had a great game. Like the one thing I'll say is that when we don't have Casemiro, man, do we struggle winning second balls, right? Like this guy is up in the air, winning damn near every second ball that pops in the air. Um, again, he's pretty. One thing you really see in live is sort of like change of pace. Oof, it's so easy for players to just get the ball, stand him up, and literally just walk past him. Like if there's space and Casemiro's in front of you, he's not even a defender. He's a cone, right? So for that reason, it's not really good look, but everything else he offers in terms of even on the ball, he was pretty tidy at moments. Obviously, there was one moment where he gave away a throw in that led to a goal. That was atrocious. But again, I mean, we all know what Casemiro's about. He's not Cruz, right? There's a reason there was Cruz next to him at that Madrid team and Modric, right? They did all the ball playing, right? Um, so given again, like this is basically kind of saying what I said last episode or Arsenal episode, where what he's supposed to be good at, he did good at intercepting the ball at times, getting it, and pinging it to a player, doing decent on set pieces. Obviously, he got that. I guess you could say assist for the own goal, right? And just kind of just being a physical presence in the midfield, winning headers and whatnot. I think he did good. So I'm not sure what Foot Mob gave him, but I'd probably give him, in the sevens. I'd probably like a 7.3. I think that's fair. Obviously, again, there were moments where, he wasn't as tidy as he could have been, a little too slow to mark somebody one on one. But, for what it is, 7.3.
Oh ho ho! And Casemiro, yes, one of his key flaws, and I think the only thing that we're all gonna keep judging him because it's a two-man midfield is, dude, when someone shifts to second gear, he's only staying in first gear. He ain't running. But
Exactly.
the funny thing is though, because he can't get to like he can't get up to the speeds, he makes these like it honestly blows my mind how great he is at making these slide tackles though, because
Yeah.
there'd be like things I'm like, oh dude, why is he sliding? Because like I know why he's sliding, because he's not gonna catch him and he needs that extra to get him, but he'll get him and
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, I was like, dang. But Casemiro, like I said, he plays the role well only because, like, even though you're right, he's like a cone and you're just kind of getting around them. I feel like he forces them into these other players that we have to defend, which makes them make these great defending tackles. For example, there was a play where, like I said, he made like a sliding tackle. Like because he was hustling, like I mean at his own pace, but that gave an opportunity for Shaw to kind of win the ball back. So overall, like yeah, football gave him a 6.9. I would say round that up to that 7, because
Hmm.
yeah, a dude, him and Bruno, it's actually kind of funny because they are like the weirdest pairing to be in this formation, but like they do the most work at the best that they can do, if that makes sense. So the only thing I would say that Casemiro has to stop doing is he's staying like long balls like diagonal because
I know
like
you're talking
because I'm
about.
like
They never work.
because they're not working, man. Because there was like
Yeah.
a little clip and it was funny. Where I think he was like trying to curl it like diagonally to like Xerxes. Um, I mean, it would probably have worked if maybe like Sesko was there because he's when I seen that guy play, I was like, dang, he's winning these balls like crazy. But it was just funny to me. I just thought it was crazy. But
Yeah.
overall, Casemiro played great. Now,
Hmm.
I just want now we could skip this guy if you want to save him for last. Is our next midfielder? We could save him for last because I know you got to be there in the moment. Uh, I'll let you decide because you like I said.
Let's go into it. Let's go into it.
All
What are we
right,
waiting for? Let's
all
go
right.
into it.
Well, then let me chat him. Let me chat him up, and then I'll let you talk
All
about
right, go
your.
ahead.
I'll let you talk about your epic moment at the end. So, Capitano Bruno Fernandes. Uh, I would say this game he had a great performance. Now, I would say this is Burnley, so I don't want to say too much about it because if you're playing against a great team in the midfield, could it have been a different story? Maybe. But this game, he was very disciplined in that midfield. Now, you could definitely tell, though, he's not our midfielder because that's not like how he likes to play. So, he did push up, but he played such a great game. I would say that last moment of the game, pressures were high. He was just coming back from a penalty that he just missed. Um, you know what I mean? That pressure and all that, nope, cool as ice. He knew his mistakes. He must have been writing up on Ivan's notes. Ivan sent him a piece of paper. Was like, hey, this is what you got to do. Just do what you've been doing. And guess what?
Hmm.
Man slotted home. Positioning, passing, his ability to just keep the morale up, phenomenal. Was phenomenal. Fulham has him as an 8.6. I would round that up to maybe 8.8, maybe a 9. Am I being biased because he's our team? Yes, 100%. but but I would
What do you think
say
we're here for?
but that's
To
why
be
we're
honest?
here. Yeah, but overall no. But I mean, for realistically, like yeah, he definitely was holding us down this whole game. Like I said, we had these highs and we had these lows. Even on these lows, man, he was riding it all the way. So I can't speak too much because I wasn't there at the end, but I'll let my best mate Ivan talk about the epic moment. But overall, his performance first, and give us a little insight of what you got to witness.
I mean, you saw the game, right? You saw what he did, right? This guy was absolutely everywhere in a positive way, right? He was like the ultimate number eight today, right? I promise you, I looked at my dad at some point in the game because my dad's a City fan, and um, he's obviously a Bruno hater, right? Like a lot of people on the internet are. They don't really understand the hype, whatever. I looked at him. I said, "You understand now why there's hype around Bruno, right? Like you just saw what he did today." And he looked at me like, "Yeah, that guy's a dog. That guy's a dog, bro. This guy was." Is everywhere. He was making tackles in our own box, blocking crosses, intercepting balls, chasing players down, getting aggressive, winning headers, and then obviously doing what Bruno does. He was, pushing forward, pinging the ball around, creating chances, putting good crosses in on set pieces. Um, and even, the main thing is that no other player on our team has. He has the balls to control the game. He has the balls to run to our center backs the entire game or anywhere around the pitch and basically be the relief. A player's getting stuck in a situation out of nowhere. Here comes Bruno passing the ball, and he's either going to beat a man or ping the ball 30 yards and, keep the play going. Like, quite literally, he did everything in that game, and it was amazing to see in person, right? The amount of passion he plays with, he's always the one that's probably the most vocal on the pitch currently, to be honest. Talking to the ref, talking to the players, kind of giving instructions, telling people when to calm down, when to, hurry up, when mistakes happen, he's there like, hey man, like, you need to play this ball sooner or whatnot, or Dalot will be making a run and you'll see him like pointing like, hey man, switch it to him. Um, so yeah, honestly for me, it has to be a 9. I wouldn't give him a 10 just because there were moments where, he did a couple sloppy passes in the back that caused, counters. But again, that's kind of the thing with Bruno is he's really a cam, right? He's not supposed to be the guy that's supposed to secure the football for you, right? He's not a Tony Cruz, right? Where it's all about possession and keeping the tempo. So, but again, he is being asked to play that role. So you still have to dock him a couple points. So I'd probably say a 9, to be honest. Um, but yeah, phenomenal. And like you said, at the end of the game, our seats are right there, on the goal line, basically. So, we saw him kind of just trying to focus, holding the ball, walking around, trying to focus, trying to like get distracted, like, happened a couple games back. Where other team players are trying to walk up to the penalty spot and just throw him off, right? Talk shit. No, he walked away and he kind of had the ball and he was just thinking. Finally, he went up to the spot, he sat there. And it was funny, the fans, I thought it was interesting that the fans were chanting, leading up to the penalty, they were chanting his name, right? But in my opinion, I feel like that kind of plays into his head a little bit, right? So you notice he had put the ball down and he was already ready. Ref blew the whistle. The fans are still chanting, Bruno, 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 Bruno. He waits for them to stop chanting, basically, like 10, 15 seconds. They stop chanting. And he kind of just sits there and finally like takes like a deep breath and finally like collects himself. And then he goes and then he scores it. Starts going crazy, right? Crowd goes crazy. He comes run over, he does his little slide. He's just going ham, right? Like the emotions are high for him, for the fans. Like it was a great moment. It was awesome. It was so awesome to see, see his whole element and just kind of how he handled it. Because it was stressful, man. Like I almost had a panic attack. Like it was so stressful. Like all the pressure we have to perform and to win, considering our 15th finish last year, considering the terrible game we just had midweek, right? Considering, even how vocal the manager has been about he wants to quit or he, at moments he feels like he wants to quit and all this stuff. Yeah, the tension was high. And it being the 97th minute, that's not easy, man. Like if I was in that, I was literally like, I don't know if it was before or after I started recording, like I was shaking. I'm a fan. Like I'm not the one taking the penalty and my hands were uncontrollably shaking from the adrenaline, right? So imagine you being the guy center stage, like the spotlight's on you, right? They're chanting your name. It's silent. Everybody's watching you, right? Rival fans, your own fans. And there's this big old goalie in front of you blocking this net. Like that is not easy, man. And for him to put it away like that, no, that's goated, man. That's goated.
And it was raining, right?
That's goated. Oh, man, it's raining the whole fucking game, man.
Yeah.
It always rains out here.
Yeah.
It's just cloudy 24/7.
So that's even like, I would say that's even impressive. So,
Yeah.
oh man, what a great, that was just such a lovely thing to see
Yeah.
from him though. Very, very like,
That's poetic.
yes. Down to our last one, left wing back. Ivan, take it away.
So, okay. I will say this about Dalot this game. He did miles better getting forward. Miles better. His general position was way further up the pitch than I've seen him any game in the system. I don't know if that's because it's like left wing. Like honestly, I think he's more comfortable on this side because he loves the little cheeky step overs and whatnot, right? And I feel like that move in particular is more effective on that side. So Homeboy was making runs. Homeboy was literally standing in line with the defensive line, like most of the game. Like, and I appreciated that, right? Because that's my main complaint is like, sure, Dalot isn't the most technical player, but he's technical enough to be a wingback, in my opinion, right? Question marks on him were always defensively, right? When we first got him and we were debating, do we play him? Do we play Wan-Bissaka back in the days? It was easy to choose Wan-Bissaka because, in a back four, being a defender, right, is very important, right? Being able to tackle and whatnot. Um, but yeah, in his wingback role, it always confused me why he was so timid to get forward, right? And yeah, in this game, he did, you know. I wouldn't give him too much praise just because there was one moment where there was miscommunication between him and Shaw and I don't know who. And, obviously you saw it, right? They basically left the man wide open to put a perfect cross in for one of their goals, right? But the nice thing is he immediately redeemed himself. I'm talking, it was like seconds. Right when they got the ball back in the middle, he made his run again, like ran down the line, and then whipped in a cross right in front of me. Whipped in a cross right for Mbuemo for a little cheeky tap in. So yeah, I'd probably give him the sevens. Right, it was a big mistake he made, but because he was doing the right things as a wingback, finally, I'll keep him in the sevens for sure. He could still improve. Um, but yeah, he was doing bits as wingback. I'll give him that. So 7.5, I'd say 7.4.
Okay. And for me, I mean, dude, it's hard because yes, he got the assist, and that's like up there because that's what they're for, right? The wingbacks, right? They're there to either provide attack slash like weapons. That's really what we've been
Mm-hmm.
missing. And what I tell you, right? I love the ball. I love more of the low balls because we don't have enough like high players that are tall enough to win these crosses. So at least whip it
Mm-hmm.
in the dangerous area. Because think about it, if you beat your man, they're all running back. They're all trying to get back. So it's
Yeah.
very important to do that. Now, Dallas, one thing that I say that is very bad is, yeah, defensively, I don't know if he just like Shaw when he gets in his head, he just doesn't know what to do, or if that's just like how he plays. And then, dude, his touches are so bad, dude. I can't let that go, man. He's supposed to be one of the like the leadership like players, right? Like Amorin's little like leadership program that he has. And I'm like, dude, this guy's, oh, dude. But I would say, yes, in the second half, he definitely turned up the notch when he needed to. First half, I don't know what was going on, but oh man, I was finally happy when I seen this nice little whip ball in the dangerous area, low too. Like I said, that I always want to see from these like wing backs, because if you're not gonna do
Mm-hmm.
a cross with like anyone that's gonna win it, at least whip it in the area, because a lot of times these defenders are kind of get scared, or for example, I think Walker, remember, like he freaked out and like kicked it right back to the goalie, like because he wasn't really sure. These low crosses is what's gonna be very splitting up on these defenders. So
Mm-hmm.
Dalot, I would say he's a squad player, and that's all he would be for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if he keeps playing like that, yeah, of course I would love to see him play. Because he can provide for the team.
Yeah.
Especially because it also kind of puts a little competition for Dorgu, because like we said, right, Dorgu nearly doesn't have anyone to kind of compete. But now, hey, Dalo played over there, and he basically did something that Dorgu hadn't done, which is give an assist this season. So not bad, not bad. That's all I'm gonna say. So I would say 7, maybe 7.5 just for the assist. Because like I said, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him this. Every time he did that little like step over, and then he did the little sprint run, and he beat his man, I was like, finally. Only thing though is when he does that, then he like kills himself, and then he does like this weird like pass back. I think there was like an incident where he tried to do it with Xerxes, and I was like, dude, you could have just kept going. Like, why did like the you had your guy beat? It's kind of like in a FIFA game, right? When you're like beating your player, you do your little skill move, it actually worked, and then you pass it back because you thought it wasn't gonna work. It's kind of like that.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I remember that moment. To be fair to him though, with Xerxes, right? When you're doing that and you're getting the advantage of being able to, get closer to the byline, you really want a striker to be running that near post. But for whatever reason, you know, Xerxes peeled off like at the top of the 18, and at that moment, I think he realized like, okay, if I keep going, I'm about to shoot my left, but a defender's probably going to come across and kind of block my angle. So it probably doesn't favor his left, obviously. So he's like, well, fuck it. Xerxes pulling up on the top of the box. Let me just give it to him. But yeah, like you said, he lost. He didn't even use that advantage he got, right? Because he passed it so early, right? But again, I think it has a little to do with there weren't many players in the box, and his main striker was already pulled up at the top of the 18. So I'll give him a little bit of slack, but yeah, you're right. Sometimes he surprises himself and doesn't make use of that advantage.
Yeah, but
Um,
but
but
yeah,
yeah,
overall, I mean,
seven
like I
five.
said, yeah, but that's just said, and I mean, the thing is, right, and I the only reason I'm like this is, remember, this is Burnley, so I would hope they would perform a little better.
No,
Um,
no, no, no. We can't use that narrative.
but
We can't use
but
that
but that's all.
narrative.
But
No,
that's
hopefully, no, nothing. We
but
perform.
but
It's a prem team. We perform
oh, okay.
because I only say that. I only say that because, like, you know, when we play Arsenal and we perform the way we did, that gives me the reassurance that like this isn't a fluke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get what you're saying. I understand that narrative. But when the first game of the season, the team that people are saying are title contenders and are one of the favorites, we dog them exactly the same way. Like the style of play, the patterns, exactly the same. I don't think it's a fluke, right? I mean, we put up same amount of chances. Like this is how we play. That when we're at it, this is how we play.
okay,
You
I
know,
see you. I see you. Backing us all the
you know
way.
what I'm saying? Yeah, we got to back the
Yeah.
team. We got to back the team. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying?
so then this goes up to the attacking. Um, and I'm gonna start this off a little bit differently, only because he was subbed off. Um, we will go off with Cunha.
Yeah. For me,
To walk me through, Mister, who
starting
was
off.
watching, what you were when you were watching this.
Yeah, well, funny enough, I'll start off. I think I was the bad juju because, it so happened that today I bought your boys. Can you see this? Can
No
you see
way,
it?
you bought his jersey.
I bought his jersey. I killed him. It was me. You know what's crazy? I
Oh,
talked to my dad, and my dad was like, "Yeah, you know what? Last year I bought Rudge's jersey, and like a week later he tore his ACL." I was like, "Why didn't you tell me this? I could have waited till tomorrow to buy that jersey, man." You had the bad juju. You gave it to me, and I
oh,
injured him.
oh.
Ah,
And it sucked too because it was like, honestly, the thing was, I wasn't even watching this part because I had stepped out. I just seen the little
yeah.
news feed on the phone, and I was just like, I was like, what? And I just see like it showed like a little photo of him like looking at his hamstring, and
Mhm.
I was like, no. I was like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. So, before that, he played well. Not too many moments he had, but he was stretching the field. He was making good runs. He was linking up pretty well. Um, him and Mount were kind of swapping positions, so at times he'd be up front. Um, but yeah, I think he did. It's kind of the same story. His performance really didn't vary from other games. He pressed well, which is always good. He was always an outlet out wide. He always, tucked in and helped up on build up and whatnot. So, obviously he got injured pretty soon, so I wouldn't be able to give him too much of a high rating, but I'd probably say like high sixes just because again, he didn't really get to do too much. High sixes, maybe a seven.
Yeah, and then I think I must have jinxed it because I was telling you last week, right? I was like, please. All we gotta hope for is no injuries, and bam, it happened.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
bam. Yeah,
and
speak of the devil, he shall appear, right?
and I mean, it was bound. It happened. I mean, because
It happened, yeah.
he's. I would say he's one of the hardest working like players we got out there, dude. I feel like he's always running. There's another player that was running a lot too, and he played the full game. So, and we'll get to him a little later. But yeah, it just sucked to see him get hurt. It was just like, oh
Mhm.
man, because he's literally like showing why the Brazilian flair that we like to see, right? That extra like thing that's like makes you smile when you see him on the pitch. Yeah, but overall, just because he didn't play too much, I would say like in the sixes, and that's all I'll give. Him and Mount always doing what they're doing, uh, linking up perfectly. The good thing about I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a good thing to see him get hurt, because it always sucks. But the one thing is we have so many tens, so like I feel like Mount would be a good, player to, have instead, and Bruno and all of them. So ain't like the end of the world, but it just sucks to see him only in the third game already out. So, Ivan, why'd you buy the shirt, man? You could have waited till tomorrow. um, but yeah, overall pretty good though. So then we'll move on to Mr. Money Mound, baby. My one to watch is still in playing. Look at him go. Tell me, Ivan.
Hello?
Are you gonna tell me?
Oh, sorry. Your internet did the thing again.
Oh, I said, I
But we're
said,
back.
I
We're
said.
back. What'd you ask?
Oh, I said. What'd you think about Mr. Money Mount next?
Yeah, so again, like the good thing is, some of our performance are, some of our reviews are a little boring. I'm not gonna say they're boring, but I'm gonna say they're becoming a little repetitive only because our players are actually performing consistently, right? Like the positive things that they've been showing the first couple games, they're continuing that, right? So same thing with Mount.
And
Yeah, like pressing, he is phenomenal. In terms of picking up the ball and actually like switching the play or threading players in, like Mbuemo on the opposite side or Cunha or whoever or even Diallo out wide. He was great. He found himself in little pockets at times. Even on set plays, he did okay. He won the ball back. Obviously, there was a controversial moment where he won it, and Walker may or may not have pulled him down, whatever. Obviously, that was called back. But yeah, dude, solid performance. And I know he got signed or he got pulled off in second half. I'm not sure what kind of injury he had. I completely missed that, to be honest. But yeah, I would definitely give him high sevens. For the moments he was in the game, I give him like a 7-7. To be honest, he was great. He was good.
whoa, what do you say? This is getting kind of boring and repetitive. This is live, reactions. This is in the moment. I got
No,
to
no,
like,
no, 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 no.
and
It was the wrong word. You used the
yeah,
wrong choice of words.
and I will tell you right now, and I will always speak this right. Mount, the only thing that was always bad about him was that he got injured. He was never
Hmm.
he was never like wasn't performing. He just would get injured and then you would not hear from him. I feel like
Yep.
in this system, he is working so good that like now you're starting to see how he's actually playing because I told you right at the beginning of before that we were going to start the season, he was my one to watch player because I feel like he would fit this system perfectly. Pinging the ball,
Hmm.
you were already making the shout outs in the Arsenal game about how great he is as switching the plays. Because in my mind, like you're right. Like the thing that we always have to worry about is, dude, we gotta work the opposite side because we gotta work on these transitions, especially that we got these attackers that are so great at pushing up and like I said, now both sides aren't weak, so you can create these better chances, and we just needed a player who
Hmm.
had that extra flair, and which is what we were always missing, that player that would make these opportunities happen. Yeah, I don't know about the injury because because I mean, in my mind, I didn't even think he got hurt. I thought he was just subbed off for halftime, and maybe maybe I must have missed that. It didn't even pop up on my phone. But yeah, Footmob is giving him a 7.4. That is right on the money, and that's why they call him Mr. Money Mount. Um,
Who calls him
I'm
that? You call him
yeah,
that?
I do. It's an American thing, you know.
Yes, yes, yes.
But yeah, I would say overall, man, I was can't wait. Hopefully he's not out for like a long time. Hopefully it's something small. I need to see him get back in there, dude. I feel like this is might be his season. So
Yeah. Well, especially with Cunha out, right? We're gonna need him.
yeah, so
So
hopefully it's like maybe like a toe thing or I don't know what the injury is, but yeah,
probably just a week, right?
yeah. So yeah, hopefully.
With the international break.
Oh, that is true. International. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Um, this goes to the last dog, the guy that I think he was playing, running, and I thought I was like, dude, he's probably exhausted. He's not gonna be making these runs, dude. Mbuemo, holy Schwinkton, dude. There would be some balls. I'm like, oh, dude, they're sending it like this guy ain't gonna get it. Uh, uh,
He's booking it.
dude, I was like, I know in my mind I was like, dude, this guy's unfit. He's not gonna make no crazy runs like these. He proved me wrong, and I bet you he proved everyone else wrong too. This man was running up and down, dude. Anytime, bodying, dude. He put his heart and soul into this game. Uh, I'm very glad for him to finally get his first goal. In the Prem, like I know it was a tap in, but dude, he was right there where he needed to be. Which is very crucial. Like I said, it's all about your positioning. Uh, he actually was linking good. I would still say that he's got to work a little bit on his decision making still. Other than that, though, phenomenal game. I think football gave him a 8.3. Let's round that up to an 8.5. Ivan, you've seen him live. Let me hear from you. Let me get your perspective because I think you were on that side where he was playing. So let me see what you got.
Yeah, so yeah, he had to be our best player. Obviously, Bruno gets a lot of the spotlight because of his defensive contributions and the penalty and everything else. But yeah, he was our best player, right? Offensively, the outlet he provides us is so game changing, right? Whenever we get pinned back or we're in transition and we're looking for an outlet in behind or even just pinging it to him up in the air, he is so strong, bro. It's actually crazy. He was pinning these like 6'2", 6'3", fullbacks or center backs, holding them and either just one touch, bringing it out and passing it, or even when the ball's in the air, this guy is somehow winning these headers when these guys are clearly like 5, 6, 7, 8 inches taller than him. Um, and yeah, even beyond that, like actual offensive output, like his pace in behind, his positioning is so good. Like he's always finding the pockets and he's so tidy with the ball. Yeah, he was great. He created so many chances. Him and Diallo were linking up real well. I think Ahmad okay, I think Mbuemo or can you stop saying that? Mbumo is kind of realizing how useful Ahmad can be one on one. I realized like in the first couple games they were kind of stepping on each other's toes, and Mbuemo was kind of like he's used to on most team or like Brentford, where once he got into certain positions, he only had one thing in mind, right? And that was cut inside and shoot, right? Or cross. But he's realizing, no, let me use this kid out wide a little more, right? And he was doing that. I saw he was remembering to kind of find him or just one two, just use basically be a wall for Diallo. And that helped out the entire team. Because it created more space and it caused more defenders to shift that side and double up on him, right? Um, I think that was one really good thing I saw today, where they actually linked up a lot better, and they were committed more to their roles than the previous games, right? But yeah, he was our best player. So good, right? Like you said, in the goal, it's a perfect position to just peel off, right? And find himself in the box there. And yeah, set pieces. He has such a nice left foot that was so useful. It created so many dangerous opportunities. Um, and yeah, he is. Yeah, he's such an important outlet for our team. Honestly, I don't want to say this, right? Like rest in peace, Cunha. You know what I'm saying? He's out. He's injured. But like, if Mbuemo got injured, that would change the dynamic of our team, guaranteed, 100%. Obviously, Cunha does. I'm not trying to do that. But like the outlet that he provides is so useful. So many moments they would they would get some possession and whatnot, and just the ability instead of losing it, you know how we are. We get a little sloppy trying to play out the back. The ability for somebody to just look up and see a Mbuemo with some space, either in behind or even just standing. They just ping it to him and they know he's gonna win it. He's either gonna win it and keep it, or he's gonna, run it behind. So yeah, man of the match for me. What did I give Bruno? I gave him a 9. Probably give him a 9-1, 9-2, slightly better. Um, I didn't even mention defensively. That guy, man, that guy works hard. That guy is running back, defending. Um, yeah, he don't stop either, just like Cunha. So yeah, 9.2.
Oh,
I give him a 9.2.
and yeah, overall, I would say, like I said, Bruno would probably get man of the match in football's perspective. Just because of the pressure and everything, last minute winner, probably all that. But in Bumo, I would say he put in the work. Honestly, that little play that I thought for a second, dude, it went in. Is that corner play where Bruno was outside the box and he whipped it in and Bruno just like volleyed it and it went like slightly off. I was like, dude,
Mhm.
that was such a nice ball and everything. I'm like, oh my goodness, bro. Yeah. Right now on the screen, I put both of basically the two main key components in this game. Bruno, definitely more disciplined. Mbumo, definitely showing improvement throughout the games, and that's probably what he's going to keep on doing. Like I said, phenomenal performance from these two. Phenomenal.
Yeah,
Um, so,
agreed.
what about the subs? I know there was a big
Yeah.
storyline, so we're seeing one of our little
Oh,
subs.
yeah. There's not much to talk about. So I say we just run through it.
No,
I'll leave the main one for last. Obviously, being
Xerxes.
Sesko.
Let's do Xerxes.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll talk about Xerxes. I guess we'll jump into that, right? So Xerxes, Sesko, there was a whole dilemma. Like, we just bought a new striker, right? And why are we not subbing him in when Cunha gets injured, right? But if anyone watched the press conference after the game with Amorin, he explained it perfectly well. He said Cunha's injury, right, and Sesko playing last game, that all ties together, right? He said maybe part of the reason Cunha got injured today is because he played a full 90 minutes plus penalties last week and played a full game, the weekend before. So him getting injured early on, instead of subbing in another player who just played a full 90 minutes and he knows is less fit than Cunha was, right? Because Cunha had a full preseason with us, right? Sesko didn't. So with that in mind, he's like, no, I'm not going to sub in Sesko and risk that, right? When Cunha just dropped dead, right? So instead, he put in Xerxes, who's more fresh. He didn't play. He didn't start midweek. Um, so that was it. That was really it with the decision, right? So there's not really much controversy. It's not that he thinks Xerxes is better or whatever. It's just literally that. He had Cunha play, and he got hurt. And he didn't want the same thing to happen to Sesko because they both started in midweek. That's it. But again, beyond that, speaking of Xerxes' performance, again, it's literally the same thing we've seen with Xerxes. He is pretty good when it comes to build up. He's got a bit of flair to beat a player. And I muted that whole time.
You were
Like how long?
you were muted. You got muted when you started talking about Xerxes.
Oh, give me a second. I'm getting spam messages. Give me 1 second.
Well, then while you're waiting, uh, I would say Xerxes did what Xerxes does, right? He held up the ball. Um, I felt like he slowed down the tempo and then made sure to pass to the open man. Only negative thing is I didn't really see him do too much attacking, which is kind of like what we needed though for the striker. But I mean, Xerxes did what he was called out there to do, which is hold up the play, pass it to
Hmm.
the attacking midfielders, give it out to the wingers. I think that's really what his assignment was. It wasn't to do anything. That to, of course, if you have the opportunity, take the shot. But I mean, I would give him like a 5. He got to play a lot longer. And you're
Hmm.
right. I think the manager said it straight up, and I mean, I was thinking that anyways as a Man United supporter, right? Sesko, I mean, his fit, dude. You don't want to injure this kid, and then especially, I'm pretty sure he thought maybe like, hey, I don't think he can play this whole 90. I don't want to sub him off and waste another sub, because at the end of the day, that's probably what it was gonna come down to. And I was like, yeah, why not bring Xerxes? I mean, he can kind of do the role that he was gonna do anyways, other than like I said, the attacking aspect. And I mean, that's what I said. I would give him a 5. That's just me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd give him that low. I mean, he did misplace a lot of passes and lose the ball, kind of trying to turn. But I think there were still enough good moments where he put in a couple players in behind, got some shots off in some good locations, and at least was a physical presence where he was able to win some headers. I'd at least give him a 6. But yeah, I wouldn't go much higher than that. Um, yeah, same with Xerxes. If he had a good shot on him, he'd be Ekatike. I hate to say it, but that's literally it. Like his technique, the way he dribbles, all that, even his physical presence is great. But that shot, man, if he just learned a better technique, bro, he'd be great. But
He would. And I mean, football gave him a 6.4. So you're matching their energy. I mean, like I said, I was just. I mean, I think for me, and I told you right, attacking. We have to have that clinical finisher in this role.
yeah,
And like I said, if he was in it because he's in that position, I'm just gonna rate him a little harder as like a striker role. So that's just me. We
yeah,
will
I
move
agree.
on. I'm not gonna rate Mizraoui because he came in like 5 minutes before the game ended, so I won't even rate him. But Mizraoui, he just came in for Euro. Like I said, I think Euro was already kind of, I mean, obviously tired, right? He was running up and down the pitch, so Mizraoui was really just trying to
Yeah,
give him some leeway to do. And Mizraoui plays the role, good. So
yeah, he did good. He made some good tackles. When the last minute, there were moments where we lost the ball and he won it back. Then we lost it again. He won it back again, and I think that really helped in those last couple minutes, just for morale wise. Like the fans got real, riled up about that. Um,
and he came back from
and
injury,
yeah, he was
so
tidy with his passes. He took on some players out wide to create some space and keep the ball moving. So it was good. But like I said, it wasn't much minutes, but you know, I don't think it'd be honestly for the time he was in there. I don't think it was less than a 7. Like because everything he really did was well. He even won some headers, so sure, whatever, a 7.
yeah, and he was
But
coming
we
back
can move
from
on from that.
yeah, and he was coming back from injury. So I mean, like I said, give him some
Hmm.
minutes. So Sesko, he played I think in football it says 72 minutes. Um, so he played like the last few minutes of the game. Um,
Hmm.
One thing that I saw, which I was like, holy cow, when they finally whipped the ball to him and he was winning these headers, I was like, oh, this man has some hang time. Not only does he have like height and jump, I was like, dude, he can hang in the air. He was unfortunate not to score a couple of his like those headers. Walker did play, defend him really well and gave him the little bump while he jumped, so he came on balance. Um,
Hmm.
The only thing is right, and I know it's gonna take a while, kind of like with Hoyland. Uh, they ain't playing him the ball enough, um, and that's the only thing, right? It's just, uh, they gotta work him, because if not, like, then he's not doing anything for us either. I mean, other than just being an aerial threat, but I want to see him more with the ball. I need the players to kind of have a little bit more faith. Hopefully next game, he'll get more playing time since now all we're worrying about is the Prem. And now it's going to be with international break. He'll get a chance to get fit, get in the squad a little bit more. So expecting it, football game like a 5.8. I would round that up to a 6. I feel like none of our players really performed under a 6. So I would say he's a 6 just from that.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like you said, he was good in the air on moments that he did have, and build up. He did okay in certain moments. He was a little sloppy in other moments. But again, he's only had a small sample size this season in the Prem, at least. So you can't really be too harsh on him. Um, but yeah, I'd agree with sort of the players really need to learn and get used to having somebody who can actually be used in the box, right? In terms of crossing on the ground, in the air, whatever. Because he can be a real asset. Watching him in the game, he was making good runs like all the time, and just people weren't finding him, right? And again, it's a confidence thing, right? They're used to Hoyland being that guy running it behind, right? And they're just kind of like, if I make this pass, no matter how good it is, it's a fucking waste, right? He's either gonna mistouch it or touch it too far out wide and not be able to get a good shot in, or not even gonna be where the cross is, right? But I think with time, with them making the right choices and him actually being on the end of it like he should, I think that'll build the confidence. Like in the second half, there was a moment where Dalot got out wide. And Dalot usually goes wide and then he cuts back and then he goes again and then he cuts back and passes to Bruno and then Bruno crosses it. And by then, like, the whole other team is back, right? All 11 players are back by then, blocking the cross. But there was a moment where he beat his guy and put in an early cross. And Sesko was there making the run and he got a header off, right? Almost scored. Um, so I think moments like that are gonna like stick in their mind and be like, oh, like if I cross early, which is what you want to do, because the defense hasn't been able to like set themselves. Um, like he's actually gonna be there, and same thing with those like back post cross that they were doing a couple times. Like, yeah, ping it over. Like your boy 6'5" Sesko is gonna get there, right? So I think in time they'll trust that those plays actually work, and I think we'll see more of Sesko, right? That's really what we need him as in this system. We don't really need him to be involved too much in the build-up. He just needs to be able to press from the front, which he'll work up top and run, and then stretch the field a little bit. At least make runs. You don't always have to get them, but at least stretch the field, and then mainly be a presence in the box. Be something to aim at, right? On the end of these plays, and I think he's getting in those positions, so he'll come good. I think you just got to keep giving him time, and hopefully, like you said, we see him more after the international break. Maybe start a game. Um, so, so yeah, 6. I'll give him 6.
All right. Come down to the boy of the hour, the one that was going out for loan, but yet was denied. Kobe
Hmm.
Mainu. Ivan, you got to see the young boy live in action. What did you think? He got to play at least half of a game.
Yeah, so the fans were interestingly like really happy. Obviously, he came out at half with like his practice jersey off, which tells you he's getting subbed on half, and he was training and doing a bunch of drills and stuff. And the fans were all up for it. They were all excited for him. They've been especially on the social media, they've been crying out for him to play more minutes. So he got his chance, and I think he did fine. Um, he was tidy in some moments, keeping the ball well. picking it up from center backs. So in that aspect, I think he did good, and he tried to split the lines at times when we got in the final third. Right, he tried to play in the ball, you know, right in between two players and find a striker or Mbuemo or something. But the problem is those pros of his game, I don't think get outweighed by the cons of having him in a two midfield, where he's not able to defend well and he's not able to sort of be any physical presence, right? In terms of like winning second balls and whatnot. I was very scared having him next to Bruno in the midfield. Obviously, it worked out. They played pretty well, but yeah, that defensive aspect of his game, especially having Bruno next to him, was still a liability. So I probably wouldn't give him much higher than like a six. I'd give him high sixes. He wasn't bad. I'd probably give him 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, and I mean, Manu, dude, likes to press up too high. That's the one dilemma in this game, right? And you see it
That's your
in the
first
game.
pace.
Yeah, and then you see it in the game because, like I said, once you don't have like a good, I mean, because it's only two midfielders, you see a lot of the space, you know. So overall, I mean, Manu, he was like there was moments he was like flaring, but then like, dude, yeah, once it like stopped and then they had the ball, and you're like, oh, no, you're like, where's Manu? And it's just, it's kind of like a Casemiro, right? I mean, other than the fact that Casemiro's a little bit more experienced, like I told you, he was able to push off. Now, granted, I mean, like if Manu could be more disciplined and maybe up that like role, like kind of like how Bruno did today, I feel like maybe he would be more useful and utilized in the team. But at the end of the day, from this performance, yeah, it's a six, dude. It's a six. I thought he was gonna curl one in because there was a couple times they gave him the ball and he was trying to, but I think because it was the pitch was wet and everything, he kind of skyrocketed.
Bro, I forgot. I was gonna mention that. He needs to stop shooting from distance. Homie had zero power. Zero power in his shot, bro. Like seeing it live, it looked worse than on TV. He's got no power.
Oh, really?
Like I understand his move is like a finesse, but it's always in the box. Like continue to do those. He's got that on lock. But when you're outside the box, homie, literally just stop shooting it. Like find a player in behind, do a little nice little dink that he knows how to do. But if you're not in the box, don't shoot. He's got like 60 long shots and he's got like 85, 86, finishing. So stick to the inside the box shots, homie.
Oh, okay.
Because that was so frustrating. He did that a couple times, and again, there's no power behind it, and it's not once; it's every time. So it's like, bro, you see what we see after you kick that ball. You know you don't got it, so stop shooting it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways.
Well then, yep, and so that brings us from player rating. Overall, though, I'd say the team played well. They even though Cunha got hurt, we let some goals in. They kept up the press. We countered, got back the goals. Took us a hot minute, but they got the job done. So overall, great performance to the boys. Ivan, I want to get your takeaways from this game. What could you tell me? And our viewers.
So real quick, we'll just run through them. One of the main things we learned is we can't sell Bruno. We cannot sell Bruno unless we magically are going to sign two midfielders. We cannot get rid of Bruno. I don't care how much money comes in. There's not enough to replace him and buy another guy that goes next to him. He controls the game for us. He's literally the passion. He's literally the driver for a lot of these presses and just, kind of, these momentum swings that we have usually lie with a tackle from him, a switch from him that opens up the game, or whatnot, a set piece. So, yeah, that's definitely one thing we learned for today's game. Another thing we learned is that we are actually getting a lot better in set pieces on the offensive side. Like today, we looked really good and really dangerous on set pieces, and I appreciate that, right? Because if we're gonna, receive 2 goals a game on set pieces, well, at least it looks like we're gonna score at least 1 or 2 goals a game on set pieces. To at least equal it out. Um, so that was a positive from today's game. Um, Another thing we learned is that Amorin's system is not the problem, right? First game of the season, even parts of the second game of the season, and the entire third game, the system works, right? It defends pretty well as long as your players are switched on, obviously. And offensively, keeping possession, like everything overall, we dominate, right? So the system is definitely not the reason we're having shortcomings. Um, Another thing we learned is that uh, you know injuries can be a problem for us. I mean, that's not really something you learn. That's always obvious, but I think having Cunha out and then Mount out may hurt us, right, on that left side. So that's yet to be seen. Um, and then the last thing we learned, who do I give a shout out to? I'll give a shout out to Mbuemo, right? He's going to be crucial for us, especially with Cunha being out. He adds just so many different dynamics to our game and tools, right? To like getting out of pressure and kickstarting counters. He is so good at that. So he's gonna be a phenomenal player for us, right? I predict him. I predict him being like our MVP. I might have predicted him in our first episode. I'm not sure, but I think I'm pretty sure I predicted him being our most valuable player. So um, that fits in line with what we learned today. So
Okay.
that's that.
Yeah, and I mean, for my takeaway, I would just say, transfer window's not done. There is opportunity to get maybe two more key components in the team, especially because, like I said, right, we just learned injuries happen, and I realized that if one of our two starter midfielders get hurt, we really don't have like a great backup option, which is actually kind of scary if you think about it in this system. So that would be one aspect that I would like to see in these last two coming days. I know for you it's actually the next day. It's already Sunday. For me, it's still Saturday. So, but
It's
overall,
120.
yeah. Overall, though, I would like to say this was a great day. It was not only great because we won 3-2, but each player that needed to get that, reassurance got it back. Bruno, after that penalty, everyone, as a reporter, I never doubted him, on this penalty take. But I know sometimes players they kind of have that subconscious. So I'm glad to see he scored and got that redemption arc for himself early on. And then Mbuemo, uh, or like I said, I always like to see when our new signings get the goals because then once they get the goals, the floodgates happen, right? Once they start to
Mhm.
do, or even like this is right. Once they start getting whatever they need, and get the flow, that builds their confidence, especially because they're coming from, like I said, a different style of play to this system and fitting into the squad. Like I said, there's always a lot of hate in the social media world, um, but our true fans, like I said, look at my boy Ivan. He flew all the way out there to Old Trafford, right, to give that support. And it's so great to see these players like with the passion. I don't know if you got to see it because I know they were on our end of the pitch, but Bruno, the lot man, when that ball was ours, dude, they were just feeling it, dude. They were just like, we needed this win. Um, so overall, great performance. Anything you want to end on, Ivan?
No, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm out here experiencing it in the flesh, and it's been unbelievable, right? The fans are up for it. Like you said, you see the passion of the players in the field. Um, yeah, you know, go United.
United, United, United. And
United.
who will we be playing after the break? Uh, who's our next game?
The noisy neighbors. Gonna be a tough game, but we'll worry about that later. Let's enjoy this, and Yeah.
So I appreciate everyone again for watching. Like I said, we will be posting every game review. If you'd like to see anything else, let us know. Like, comment, subscribe. Give us your thoughts of the game, what you guys thought of who performed the best. If you guys want to see anything else, let us know. Um, Remember, we'll be posting this on our YouTube channel, Niko United. Plus, we'll be sharing some clips on the TikTok. Don't forget to follow that and subscribe to that as well. I wanted to say thank you again for everyone out there. Appreciate everyone that was involved. Seeing Ivan with the meet and greet that he did. I know he's not big, but all that matters is that he was there, right? We might be coming
I'll
out
be
with a
lying,
new,
people.
we might be coming out with a new intro slash outro. Ivan's in the works on that. Just to kind of get like that atmosphere feeling of a real channel. Other than that, though, this has been your boy David,
And your boy Ivan.
and we'll be signing off.
See ya.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na.